بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Jazakallah khair, Imam Ahmed. Imam and mathematician, brothers and sisters. MashaAllah. Scientist. At this time, brothers and sisters, we'll welcome Imam Khalil Akbar of Masjid al-Shaheed. Imam Khalil has been the Imam of Masjid al-Shaheed since 1989. But the brother embraced Islam under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad when he later initiated the direction towards Imam W.D. Muhammad in 1975. He has diligently served in the role of an Imam since 1977. Imam Akbar has a Master's in Human Services from Lincoln University. Imam Akbar in 1988 began working with several Muslim communities in Charlotte to establish Masjid al-Shaheed. He has served on the board of directors for the National Conference for Community and Justice, as well as Mecklenburg Ministries, an interfaith coalition in Mecklenburg County. The Imam wanted me to especially mention that he's married, mashallah, 7 children, 16 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. Subhanallah. Takbir, brothers and sisters. Imam Khalil.
I have to get used to this technology. I think I'm the oldest person on this panel. I see some of my colleagues there that I used to work with years and years ago. Alhamdulillah, Nadine, all of them. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Nasta'inahu wa nasta'ghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi azza jalla. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم وآله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد أيها المسلمون أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ادع إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة وموعظة حسنة وجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن إن ربك هو أعلم بمن ضل عن سبيله وهو الأعلم بالمهتدين. And we translate. Call unto the way of your Lord with wisdom and excellent preaching, and reason with them in the best way. Surely although thy Lord is best aware of him who strayed from his way, and he is best aware of those who go aright. Dear brothers and sisters, I also would like to thank our host for having us here. We want to thank Brother Harun Said, who has worked very diligently to put this program together. And we want to thank, first and foremost, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for blessing us to be a part of this ummah, a part of this community. To begin this subject, I want to say to you, my subject, Islam in America, challenges and opportunity. To begin this subject, I want to tell you that there are 2 Americas. America the beautiful and America the ugly. Don't get nervous. As indigenous people, born and reared in this country, we have experienced both. Slavery, Jim Crow laws, lynchings, and the burning of houses of worship, second-class citizenship. I have no intention to dwell on that America, because that America, the voice of that America, has been marginalized by the voice of good people in the society, and their voices are still very prevalent here, even though you feel and you hear some of the other voices trying to come back on the scene. But by and large, the American people are good people. And what we have at our disposal today that we didn't have then, we have the courts. We can seek redress for any issues that we have. It may take a little while, but we can seek redress. I want to talk to you about, pardon me, I'm having some problem here. I want to talk to you about America the Beautiful. The America whose creed is, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all mankind is created equal, and they are endowed by the Creator with certain inalienable rights, and that among these rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, many of us who traveled to this land, and we came here for better opportunities, better economic opportunities. Not only did we find that, but we also find that there were better opportunities to practice ID. Freedom, and this is why our community is so diverse today. That creed, that all mankind is created equal, is very much in line with the Quran, which says, "Karamni bani Adam." Certainly, without a doubt, every child of Adam is born with honor, or has dignity, or they are noble. So my focus is on that America who is like an organism, growing and developing into a more perfect union. The America that offers opportunity to people of all creeds and faiths. The America whose First Amendment says government, that is they call it the free exercise clause, freedom of religion. Government shall not establish religion or prohibit the establishment thereof. It seems that Muslims have forgotten that upon the forming of the first Muslim community in Medina, our prophet introduced what some scholars call the first constitution, wherein freedom of religion was given to the Ahli Kitab, the people of the book, Jews and Christians. Does not the Quran say, in reference to religion, la ikraha fid din, let there be no compulsion in religion? Now all that I've just said show that American ideas, or should I say Islamic ideas, are very much compatible to American ideas. When we are inviting the public to Al-Islam, we are exercising our rights as American citizens. And we have to be clear that when we engage the public, that when we say invite, that invite does not mean coercion. It is clear that the Quran and our prophet respected the freedom of conscience and the freedom of choice. And because of that approach, most lands that came under the influence of Al-Islam did so without coercion. Even in lands that came under Muslim control, the population was not forced by military might to convert to Al-Islam. They came to see for themselves through interaction with Muslim business people and their high morality that Al-Islam was the best way, and they came to the faith in great numbers. And they were also impressed by the fact that Al-Islam forbids tyranny and oppression. So it is important, as a part of our efforts here, that we are true to our religion, not just by talking it, but living it so that the American public can see it by our example. As American, whether immigrant or indigenous, we have to respect what this country, what the people of this country has been able to establish. America is a superpower by God's permission. She outlasted the last bastion or the greatest bastion of atheism, the Soviet Union. At least she acknowledges that there's a divine presence. And we can't talk about the glorious Islamic past and not recognize that this country is doing things in the world that Muslim countries today are not doing. In fact, the humanitarian efforts of the people of this country is unprecedented in the world. Efforts to combat hunger, disease, and the effects of natural disasters in the world. This is very much in line with our message that encourages us to take care of the needs of our neighbors. Now I want to talk a little bit about Islamic presence in this country. When we began to hear the word Allah, Quran, Al-Islam, and Muhammad in the public, we know who called those names to be heard in the public. It was Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, and Muhammad Ali, Imam Khalil Muhammad, who did more to popularize Islam in America than anybody else. Elijah Muhammad, the leader of the Nation of Islam, did not teach what we accept today as true Islam. But before his death, he admitted publicly that he was not teaching a religion and that another person would come and do that job. We live to see that come true. Imam Muhammad succeeded him as the leader of that community and was blessed by Allah to convert millions of the members of the Nation of Islam to the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet. Some observers say that what happened in America under his leadership was the greatest conversion of people in such a short period of time to Al-Islam since the time of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When Muslims were afraid to admit to their identity as Muslims, Imam W.D. Muhammad established a weekly radio broadcast broadcast that would broadcast nationwide for years. And he began that broadcast each week by reciting Al-Fatiha. According to people like Sheikh Abdullah Quick, this show of courageousness inspired other Muslims to come out in the public proclaiming their Islamic heritage. It came forth and declared that my name is no longer Sam, my real name is Shamsuddin. My God is Allah. My Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Muhammad ibn Abdullah, and my deen is Al-Islam. In establishing this dawah effort, we cannot deny the work and effort made by indigenous Muslims in this country. So one of our challenges is to get to know each other better. To do that, we have to be genuine, true, and respectful to each other. When we read of Muslims who have just established themselves in this land, claiming to be the oldest Islamic organization any place in this country, that says to us that to them our work that made it possible for them to organize doesn't count. And you do not even have to guess about their feelings. They come across very clearly when we meet for discussion on any subject. That is evidence. That is all the evidence that we need to support the need for intra-faith meetings between Muslims. Not interfaith, intra-faith meetings between Muslims. Sitting down with one another, talking with one another in a genuine manner so that we can get to know one another. We shouldn't be marginalized over there on Sugar Creek. You should be marginalized over here at IFGC or at ICC, over here outside. We should be meeting together. As it was said before me, this is one ummah. Intra-faith means discussion between Muslim community so that we can overcome the stereotypes and barriers that prevent us from having genuine relationships. On our side, we must respect that our brothers and sisters, no matter where they are from, are our brothers and sisters. And when Muslims are hurting in America or in Egypt or in Palestine or in Syria and Afghanistan, Somalia, Nigeria, and Czechia, Iraq, Iran, wherever we are hurting, we should declare that we are also hurting. Our children, those from immigrant families who was born and reared in this country, and those from indigenous families have a different worldview or paradigm. They're growing in a world dominated by social media and other technologies. They understand the cultural nuances of this society. They can communicate with each other much easier. Inshallah, they will establish the unity for Muslims in this country that we, their fathers and mothers, have yet to establish. Now, last I want to talk about strategy for this dawah. Recently, I spoke to some young people who are part of a youth camp for Mecklenburg Ministries. And after the engagement, one of the camp counselors confided in me that she has been seriously thinking about converting to Al-Islam. I was not trying to convert anybody. I was just giving them an overview of our faith and practices. And that proves that it is Allah who makes Muslims, not us. We are just the vessels that He used to convey the message. It also proved that we do not need an Ahmed Didat moment to spread al-Islam. We only need intelligent dialogue. How did interfaith meeting help us? Our Imam, Rahimullah alayhi, may Allah's mercy be upon him, promoted interfaith dialogue. He was the forerunner for establishing that kind of interaction with Jewish and Christian groups. These are some of the things that we should do. I'm advising. He had a beautiful relationship with a prestigious group called the Folklore, headed by the late Kiara Lubin. He spoke to millions in the world, representing Muslims in America at the Vatican by the invitation of the late Pope John Paul. We tried to duplicate his effort locally, nationally, and Muslims, and we were criticized for those efforts by some Muslims who thought we were compromising our religion. They could not see the wisdom behind those efforts until the fateful events of 9/11. When many people came out as enemies to us, made it very difficult for us. But a lot of friends came out also. A lot of people stood up. 5 minutes after I found out about that situation, Mecklenburg Ministry at that time was under the leadership of, I can't think of his name right now. But he called me and said, we have to get together and say something publicly. So not only did the enemies come out, the friends are still there. So we have to understand that we cannot be separated. We can't live in our own little caste system, pardon me. We have to reach out to the public. Those in this country who seek to be off to themselves, or those who are unorganized, they don't make it here in this country. They soon fade into oblivion. Muslims are not having dialogue with other religious folk in many places. It's no longer haram. It's a necessity for us to do it, and we know that. Imam Muhammad had another strategy. He got involved. But in July 4th, we never celebrated July 4th. But to us, July 4th meant slavery, suffering, and death. That's how we taught it. July 4th? July the 4th? Slavery. But Imam Muhammad said, no, we're going to celebrate July 4th, but we're going to call it New World Patriotism Day. Not the old world that were running around the world threatening people with gunboats and gunships. No. The America that I spoke of earlier, the one that says all men are created equal and endowed by the Creator with certain inalienable rights and that among these rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We say we challenge you to live up to those principles. So yeah, we went out in the public. Imam went out in the public and said, I will lift this flag up because I have a message. Even, I don't think anybody in here can say that Muslims and everyone in this country have benefited from the work of Dr. Martin Luther King. Oh, he's up here talking about non-Muslims. We have benefited from his work. We have to admit that. Some of you all don't know. It was hell in this country. Going to the back door. Couldn't come to the front door. It was hell. And there are forces that will take you back there if you don't get involved and say no more, never again. So we need to be involved. Politically, we need to be involved. And I know that has always been a debate with us. But a man right now is sitting before me, Nasif Majid, who served 3 terms as city councilman here in Charlotte. He helped Muslims with political issues many times. One such time was when neighbors were complaining about speeding by Muslims while going to Masjid ICC. And if I'm not mistaken, the neighbors also had a problem with their van, which they call excessive noise. And he was able to help deal with that issue and others as well by standing up to the Public Safety Committee of our city. Don't tell me politics don't matter. Nationally, we have Congressman Keith Ellison, a member of the Muslim community, and Congressman Andrew Carson, another member of the Muslim community. I'm getting ready to close. Allah said, وَلَكُلِّ وَجَّةٌ هُوَ مُوَالَهَا فَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ. To each of you, the goal to which Allah turns you. Then strive you all together as if you are racing towards all that's good. The problems of this society are also our problems. We're not immune to crime. Unfortunately, we're not immune to teen pregnancy, gun violence, racial profiling. Our young people are facing the same challenges that other youth are facing. And we have to compete, not just with one another, but with people who share our values in this country. Isolation is not an option. I have a granddaughter that's in college, and she called home and said, and I think she talked to my wife, she said, I want to start, or her mother, I want to start a Muslim student association here on campus. She is one of 3 other Muslims, 4 Muslims. But she said, I want to start a Muslim student association. College and those campuses, they are rich, right, ready for Al-Islam. So there's much more that we can say, and I don't know if we addressed the topic. We pray to Allah Most High that what I have said will well received, and if I insulted anybody or I made you feel uncomfortable, I ask for your forgiveness, and I ask Allah for His forgiveness. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار.